Okay guys, today we're going to talk about percent increase and decrease. So we're taking what we learned the past couple of days and we're just extending it to look at change in amounts. So first thing, since we are talking about increase and decrease, we are going to, of course, look at the vocabulary words that go with that. So you need to be able to tell if a problem is discussing a situation that is increasing, so such as going up, getting more, or ascending. That means that it's going up or increasing, versus decreasing. It may go down, become smaller, lessen, or descend, like you're walking downstairs. So go ahead and take a moment to press pause and get these words in your notebook. Okay, so on our notes pages today, we're going to go ahead and write our new equation. So like I said, this right side is already familiar to us. We already know to put percent and 100 at the top. The difference is the left side. So on the bottom of the left, we are always going to put the original amount. So when we read word problems today, we are going to go ahead and signal or identify the original amount by putting a star or an asterisk next to it. That way, you make sure you're understanding not only which amount goes here, because the biggest piece is setting your proportion up. Everybody knows how to do their cross product. We just want to make sure that we're setting our proportion up properly. And the second reason we're putting a star next to the original is because then you can tell if we're talking about an increase. Say, for example, you corrected your test and you were able to go from a 60 to a 70. That would be an increase and that would be a change. Or let's say you hit 10 home runs last season and this season you only hit 8 home runs. So the change would be the difference there. So one of those, we increased our grade, and we know that because the original was smaller. The second situation in the batting example, we decreased our batting average, and we are able to tell because our new number is smaller. So if we go ahead and look at the top is going to be our change. So change means what word? What operation? So we're talking about a difference here. So I'm just going to put difference in parentheses. So the change or difference. And you do this by taking the big number minus the small number. So these two proportions are the same. We're just using different words to help explain what you're doing here. So this is like we discussed, is over of is part over whole. We're saying that change over original is the same as big minus small over original. So let's go ahead and dive into an example so you understand what I'm talking about. Number 1, Amber got a raise and her hourly wage increased from $10 to $11.50. What is the percent increase? So let's see, she has an hourly wage, and it raised or increased, right? These are both synonyms, meaning it's going to be going up from $10 to $11.50. So $10 is her original amount, so I'm going to go ahead and put my star, to $11.50. What is the percent increase? So that's what we're looking for. So we know on these percent problems we want to go ahead and write out our proportion. And I'm going to go ahead and put 100 here. So then using my problem, it says, what is the percent increase? So I don't know my percent, so I'm going to put an X there to wait. And then it says 10 to 1150. So I know I'm going to be wanting to put the change up here on the top. And the change is the big, so this is my first number. So 1150 minus the small. So this is the small one. And it always goes over your original. So I look for my asterisk and I see my original is 10. And I'm going to go ahead and make a note to myself. If we're going from smaller to big, it's getting bigger. This is a percent increase, and I know it says it in the problem, but maybe I'll notice it more if I write it out. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my difference or do the change. So 1150 minus 10. So 1150, and we're talking about money, minus 10. So to subtract, I have to line up my decimals, right? So can I put the 10 over here? No, right? Because I have to line up decimals. So $10 has a decimal there. 0, 5. 1 minus 0 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So our difference now is 150, and then we're putting it over 10 equals x over 100. Okay, guys, so now our proportion's ready. What is our next step? Very good. So we're going to go ahead and do our cross product. I start with my variable, so 10x equals, and then it's 150 times 100. Remember we talked about our, quick and easy way to multiply by 100. We're going to take our decimal, and is our number getting bigger or smaller when we multiply? It's going to get bigger, so we're going to move our decimal 2 places to the right. So 150. Then I'm going to go ahead and do what next? Divide, good, by the number next to x. Divide by 10. Those cancel out. X equals, and then I see I have 2 zeros over here, so I can cross them out. So now it looks like 15 over 1, which is just 15. So now let's go ahead and write our answer in the context of the problem. So, oops, sorry. So here I see that it's a percent, right? We were looking for the percent. So Amber's wages, and did it get bigger or smaller? We said it's an increase. Increased increased 15% from $10 to $11.50. All right. Nice job. Let's do another. So for this one, it says the price of a pair of shoes increases from 60 to 72. What is the percent increase to the nearest percent? All right, so we're increasing. I'm going to write it so I notice it. From 60 to 72. So my original is starting here because it's from 60, so that's my starting point. So I have my asterisk or my star. What is the percent increase? And it says to the nearest percent. So again, I know I'm going to be using my percent proportion, so I'm going to go ahead and set that up. So over 100. Now I'm going to fill in what I know. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my star and put my original where it belongs. And then I'm looking for my big number, so 72. minus my small so I can get my change. And again, it's saying what is the percent. So we don't know what the percent is, so I'm going to put X there. Now I want to go ahead and find my change so I can solve my proportion. So 72 minus 60. Again, I have decimals here, so I'm lining them up. 2 minus 0. 2, 7 minus 6 is 1. So 12 over 60 equals X over 100. All right, so, and you do have an option, guys, of going ahead and looking at this fraction and simplifying it first. Because I see 12 and 60, and I know both of these are divisible by 6. So I can go ahead and divide them both by 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 60 divided by 6 is 10. Well, look, those are both even numbers, so divide by 2 over 2. I get 1 over 5. So now my proportion is 1 over 5 equals X over 100. Well, this is going to make my cross product much easier, right? And some of us know what 1 over 5 is equal to. Just in case, we're going to go ahead and do our cross product. So 5x equals 1 times 100, 100. We're going to divide both sides by 5 to get x by itself. So x is 100 divided by 5, which is 20. So 20%, right? And we know that 1 over 5, or 1/5, is 0.2, so that's the same as 20%. Let's go ahead and write our answer out in a complete sentence. So the price of the shoes for shoes, we're saying it went up, right, from 60 to 72, so increased by 20% from $60 to $72. All right, nice job. Okay, so this problem says the grizzly bear population in Yellowstone National Park in 1970 was about 270. Over the next 35 years, it increased by about 110%. What is the population in 2005? So 1970 was about 270. So 1970 versus the next 35 years. So that's my original, putting a star. Over the next 35 years, it increased by 110%. What was the population in 2005? So this is our new amount, right? Because we already have our original. So let's see if we can set up the proportion with this information. So what is the population? So I know 100 goes here. And then let's see, it gives us a percent. So percent always goes here. And I know my original. So I know original goes down here. So what I'm looking for in this situation is change. So I want you guys to go ahead and do your cross product, and then you're going to have to move on to the second video because I've run out of time on this one. So do your cross product and then pull up the next video.